Hey guys, Josh with Josh's Recordings here, and we're doing our own segment of kitchen table electronic repair, I guess. Today we're taking a look to see if you can put a 1996 ZR1 cluster in your 1992 Corvette, which I did, and everything works great, except there are a few differences between these clusters. First thing is, this is the most bothersome. If we hold this one up to the light, we see that the brake and the door jar are both, it's on this side of the cluster. And that's fine, except if you take a look at the new cluster, which I'll show you a picture now, the parking brake and the brake pressure are put right here. I don't know how it does does the differential or triggers that other light. If I figure it out, I might wire it in. But the door jar is over here where that shift light is. The shift light on the LT4 cluster is gone, and the door jar light is in its place. And they use the pin next to it. What I find funny is I had to do some repairs on that cluster that I bought. So if you look at the actual bulb, that light there, that one right there, is still marked door jar. And this one over here is still marked shift on the board because they never thought to change it on the board. It's literally just like that model year difference. The other thing about the gauge that I really like is if anyone's used one of these earlier facelift C4s, you know that these gauges here aren't very accurate. Oil pressure is pretty spot on, but besides that, oil temperature, that's 100, that's 200, and then that's 220. So it's terrible range. On coolant temperature, same difference. That's 185, and then that is 200, and that's 240. Like, terrible accuracy on these gauges. What they did to fix that on the, is these really weird gauges where nothing's marked there, but 185 is marked there, and then there's just 2 hash marks instead of the normal 3. Well, I think the 2 hash marks are at 203 degrees for the coolant temperature and 226. And on the oil, I think the midway point is 264 between the 215 mark, which is right here. Or sorry, this is what temperature. 215 marks right there. I also noticed that there isn't a whole lot of information on these. And LT4, now, they changed the LCD in 1992 to what I think looks better, and is also a better LCD. Now, the chip on the LCD will look different in the 1996 cluster. The chip is over here. Now, what's interesting is these LCDs are fully compatible. You can swap any LCD from 92 to 96, and they will both work. But there's some pattern differences also. If you look, you can't really see it on camera, but the segments, there's little up-facing triangles in the new LCDs, whereas these older ones are more standard style. Another difference with these clusters is, shoot, I lost, oh yeah, see these wires right on the top here? Those wires on the 1996 LCD the chip is over here, and these wires are invisible, so you can't even see them anymore. Pretty much everything else is the same and swappable. I was doing some troubleshooting, so I had to swap over this tachometer into the new cluster, and it worked perfectly fine. Pretty much everything about these 92 to 96 clusters are interchangeable, besides that these have that orange lettering, and the newer ones have the white lettering. But they still glow the same color, so it doesn't really matter. Unless you really, really care about keeping your car all original, which I obviously don't. I'd rather have my 8,000 RPM tachometer. This cluster is for sale once I get it back together. It does fully work. There are a couple blown balls. I'm gonna see if I can fix that before I sell it. And yeah, basically I wanted to get that 8,000 RPM tachometer in my 92 Corvette. and yes, it is 100% compatible. If your cluster is working 100%, which mine wasn't when I bought it, it is a plug and play situation where you literally just plug it in and you forget about it because everything works perfectly. Also, make sure you disconnect the battery if you don't have a way to clear codes, which you can clear codes pretty easily on the C4 Corvettes, but if you don't know how, make sure you change the battery because you will throw a C32 code, a C34 code, a C36 code, a C38 code, an H23 code, an H27 code, and a H32 code, H34 code, H36 code, and H38 code all in module 1. And you will have the sys light flashing at you after putting in a new cluster because it'll see all those opens and it'll freak out. So make sure to unplug your battery. And other than that, pretty much completely compatible. Thanks for watching. Josh LT4.